Hello, everybody. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Georgianna.
And this is Wholehearted Loving, where we teach you simple tools to grow the muscles you need to be with big feelings and overwhelming sensations in your body.
Whether you have active challenges in your life or relationships, or whether you're just here to learn to be kinder to yourself, we pull out all the little things that make life feel better, the things that give you a sense of hope and direction.
So if you're too hard on yourself or on others,
if you want to feel real, deep connection in your life and relationships,
even if you want to reprogram your inner critic while you're sleeping,
this is a great place to be.
So welcome, and we hope this episode brings you just the tidbit you needed today.
Enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about boundaries and self-expression and giving you a recipe for knowing what works for you and what doesn't. You'll be able to find self-reflection prompts for this episode and every episode on our Instagram at Wholehearted Loving, and you can learn more about us and how to practice with us live at wholeheartedloving.com. And because today's episode is a practice, should we just get into the practice, or we want to have a little wiggle?
I thought that I wanted to just get right into the practice, but my body said, I want to wiggle. So I'm going to wiggle. You don't have to wiggle, but I'm going to wiggle, right? And so we encourage you to see if your body wants to wiggle.
I love a good wiggle. I wiggle a lot. I think a wiggle is definitely a way that I express energy in my day.
From the very beginning when I met you, you seemed like a wiggler to me. And I was a closeted wiggler. I think I had gotten so disconnected with that part of me that's actually my essence. My essence is like, I want to show joy and excitement and playfulness through my movement and my body. And you've said it to me, and I have a friend visiting right now from the Netherlands who I haven't seen. We haven't seen each other in 16 years. And she's an excellent cook. And so she cooked for me one night, and it was so good that I wiggle. I wiggle and I make sounds. And I love noticing myself doing that now, because I think for decades that was so locked down. Just be proper, be still, don't draw too much attention, don't be weird. Definitely don't be weird, and don't look like an idiot. And that wiggle energy, that excitement, that playfulness, I think I categorize that, or it got conditioned in me to believe that fell under that's weird. And that's you're being silly, or you look like an idiot, and you're excited about things that are ridiculous.
Like love and happiness.
And good food.
I think this is biological, because now I'm not an evolutionary biologist, but it seems to me that we used to have a tail, vestigial tail,
yes,
right?
Okay, yeah.
Can you imagine? I can imagine a dog that won't wag.
Sad, right?
We're the same.
Because I imagine a dog who won't wag, it costs energy, at least in the beginning, to not wag. Because that's your impulse, it's your essence, that's your natural way of being, right? I need to shake something off, or I'm excited, or, something's piqued my interest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's happening, I would argue, within our spines a lot of the time. And shutting it down is like a denial of self, fundamentally.
So let's reclaim the wiggle. Yeah. And the waggle, whatever that is. Wiggle and the waggle, is that a Raffi song, or Sharon Lewis and Bram?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
I'm going to shake my sillies out, and then...
Oh, shake my sillies out. Shake. Yeah, that's the one.
And then there's a waggling part, right? A wiggling and a waggling after that? I don't know.
Wiggle, I don't know.
Someone tell us.
Wiggle my waggles away.
Yes, see?
Something? Yes.
There was a time we were more connected to the wiggle and the waggle.
Yeah, so bring it back. My family, not my mom, but my dad. And I still, with my mom, when we hug, I wag. I often wag my tail when I'm hugging people.
Sweet.
And my dad does it too, very naturally, but my mother studiously does not. And
she's holding her, holding in her waggle.
Yeah. Okay, so we waggled.
Yes, we waggled, and we moved some energy, create some energy, and let's dive into this practice. So first, this piece, let's not think too hard about it. This is purely a movement piece, and it's gentle. You can do it sitting or standing. You could actually do this one laying down as well. And so let's just first find some sense of, I'm here. I'm here. I can feel my body, or I'm connected to it in some way. I know where I am in my space, right? So see how you want to orient to being here. And I'm doing that first it was a little bit through feeling my butt on the seat, but actually what really got me here was looking at a new leaf on my plant that's just beginning to unfurl. And it's interesting because you've often said what helps you be a little bit more here in the moment is, I think, more visual than the body stuff. Is that right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm usually the other way around. What helps me be a little bit more here is feeling my body supported by something, touching something. And then that begins to settle me. And then my ability to focus visually gets sharper.
Mhm.
But today I noticed actually, like, yeah, I felt my butt on the seat, but I didn't really feel that settling in. But what happened was looking at that leaf got my breath to shift, I noticed. And that shifting of the breath then led to, I think I can feel my seat more now. Yeah.
You, when I hear you talk about this, it's always like, oh, that made my breath shift. It's always a body-based thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, it's, oh, my mind stopped rattling around. Like,
Okay.
I have to have enough points of contact that my brain can't think. Like a
Mm-hmm.
separate chunk of it will have the whole thinking operation going on. Part of
Yes.
me is here, part of me is thinking. That's the part I'm looking to turn
Yes.
off.
That's neat because I think in the past I would have really identified with that because I have a very strong mind, a very fast mind. It makes connections with things like boom, 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 and I'm off in another world. And often I intentionally went off in another world to feel better, to feel less of the icky. And that, I think it's because I practice so much of what we call this intentional awareness, intentional orienting. Where am I placing my focus? That in the beginning, it was sort of hard for me to feel my hands squishing together and look at something, right? Or we've played the games here with you before where we're looking for circles or we're looking for colors or we're looking for textures. And maybe we even add in, and I'm trying to feel my feet or my butt. But one of the main reasons this was so powerful for me in my life was exactly what you're talking about. It gave my brain enough to have to like work at in the moment without straining and stressing, that there wasn't much room left for all the other thoughts. And in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, and people have said this, oh, like I did the practice, but my brain's still going. And we always remind them, let your brain go. Just let it go to where it goes. Think a gazillion thoughts if you want to. And at the same time, can you squeeze your hands together?
Yeah.
Right. And over time, like you reach a tipping point and, and you get to this place where you realize there were less thoughts in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that
Yeah.
moment is like, what?
Yeah. And I want to emphasize, like, I think this is really important because it's a thing that we can learn. And I think that what we've just described is why people do dangerous things,
Mm,
because it occupies their brain in such a way that the mind chatter stops. And that's such a
mm,
relief. I noticed this. I was just in the city for a few days and had to do a lot of highway driving. Like, I come now from a small island. There's one road. There's almost no cross streets. There's one stop light. A stop sign if there's a few stop signs. I found such mental peace speeding too fast down the highway in a complicated traffic pattern situation of merging. I'm like, oh, that my mind is silent. Like, there's just
I
enough for me to
see.
focus on that my mind is silent and I feel completely comfortable doing this.
Yes.
And that's kind of fucked up. Like,
I
I shouldn't
need
feel the need.
chaos to feel peace.
Right? Like, going 100 in a complicated
Yes.
merging pattern is the most
Yes.
peaceful my mind feels. That's learned, optional, and there are things I can do. That's not a design. I can practice these different ways of focusing and shifting focus and sharing focus that keep my mind silent, also in a peaceful situation.
Yes. Right. Because we have essentially said, I will replace one version of chaos for another.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to help my mind settle. Like, this is
Yeah.
like so much of a sensory overload right now that I have to focus. And those other thoughts don't have as much room momentarily. Right. And that's great. I want you to be safe on the highway. I want you to focus. And also, let's not let that be the only option we have for some mental reprieve.
Yeah.
Right? You can have more mental reprieve in a way that feels accessible at any point in your day, no matter what is actually happening, even in times of chaos. And if someone would have told me that years ago, I would have said, you're full of crap.
Yeah.
And I probably would have said, I'm happy with my mind, actually.
Yeah.
I like the pace that it goes at. Right. But then I would, in another breath, complain about how my life is so busy and this and that and all the rest.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All
So,
part of knowing ourselves.
yes,
Very good.
what this practice is really going to help you do is know yourself better and shift towards being unapologetically you, knowing yourself to that degree and being okay with yourself to that degree. And that's where I think a lot of freedom becomes accessible to us, because we spend much less energy worrying about, what do I want? Do I want that? Do I not want that? But they said I don't want that. Is that true? Do they know me better than I do? Right. And so this is a practice to help you get clear on what it is you want and don't want in your life.
What feels true to you? Like that piece you just touched on, like the shoulds and the other people's expectations have obscured what is natural and feels true for us, right?
Yeah.
We've learned that that's something we should not be. We must hide in order to maintain connection or whatever it is.
Yes.
And so there's parts of you that are like cut off that we're gonna bring back in today.
Yes. Okay. I just jotted down a note because I want to touch on this. Okay, so let's play. I'm going to just rock a little bit back and forth in my seat so I'm a bit more here again. And then when you're ready, we're going to take our hands and just have them in the space in front of you for a moment. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slowly draw your hands inward towards your body and let your hands land somewhere on your body where it feels decent or pleasant. And just hang here for a moment. And then when you're ready, we're going to take those hands off of our body and just gently turn palms facing outward and push away. Make a pushing away motion. You can hang there for a moment, and then we're just going to dance back and forth with this at your own pace, right? So drawing in, palms inward towards yourself, letting them land on your body. And then when the time feels right, pushing the hands away. And if you'd like, you can pair breath with that. You might want to, on the inhale, draw the hands in, and on the exhale, push the hands out. And here's another tweak: is you could imagine pushing out and use all the space around you, different directions. Do you want to push out front, up top, a bit to the left, a bit to the right, to the top corner, to the bottom corner? How do you want to push out, and where do you want to draw in from? It doesn't just have to be in front of you. So play with that. See how that feels to draw in from different directions and push away towards different directions. Right. You can also play with the pacing. How fast or slow are you pushing in and out, drawing in? How emphatically are you drawing in and pushing away, right? So there's lots of ways to play with this. There's also, we began with drawing in with two hands and pushing away with two hands. You can also play with, I leave one hand close to me or on me, and I use the other hand to draw in and push away, right? And as you try all these variations, the encouragement is to have you notice how they each feel. What feels pleasant, unpleasant, what feels surprisingly interesting to you, right? And just see. And maybe you're like, I don't really particularly notice anything, but maybe I notice, well, I don't feel extra stressed. I don't feel more stressed than I was. I don't feel more activated than I was. Or maybe you notice slowing down in this way showed me I may be more revved up than I realized. Right. And maybe there's something my system needs in order to support myself to feel a little bit better, a little bit more settled.
Yeah.
So that was just the movement. What did you notice from just the movement?
Well, the movement today, I mean, this is something we've done a lot over the years. So there's been a lot of discovery for me in what I thought I knew about myself, and then what I discovered from the doing.
And by discovered by the doing, you mean like discovered as you moved in different ways, you discovered even more about yourself.
Yeah. Things shift as I do, right? And I think probably a good example of that, and something I'm experiencing right now as we do it, is that I think I thought or believed that emphatic and big was like the most, like, if it's a no, then it's obviously emphatic and big. And what I discovered in the doing for myself was that when I am completely 100% no resistance to something, it's not big or emphatic at all. It's simple, clear. So if I'm doing a big emphatic no and pushing away with straight arms out, for me, the energy of that is either like super cortisol bear attack, no, which is never happening. So in reality, for me, that huge emphasis is me trying to convince somebody of something I don't quite believe in myself.
Yes, or you don't allow yourself to recognize as this is my truth, right? So you're using fight energy
Yes.
to convey a no versus I think what you're describing is when I feel a little bit more settled and more with myself and clear, it's actually like a sturdiness, but a calm feeling. And
Yeah.
then the no is just very clear and it doesn't need to be this emphatic, loud, push away hard kind of no, which
Yeah.
when we're in danger, that might be
Yeah.
the kind of no that's really important,
Yeah.
right? But often, like you're describing, probably that flavor of no and that intensity of no isn't what is really needed in that moment.
Yeah. It involves some degree of self-protection for me.
Mhm.
And when my no is just completely clear and embodied, I don't need to protect anything. The no is
Mm.
its own protection. My
Mhm.
arms are not all the way out. They're just right here. And it's just like, no, like just
Yes. Yes.
absolutely not. There will be none of that.
Yes. Do you know, this reminds me of children. I think if you watch young children, unless they in that moment are afraid, right? But young children, when they first start saying no, they have no problem saying no. It's very calm and clear. It's like, I don't want that. No. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And
it's
they
not,
also will say like, no,
yeah,
yes, no, yes,
yeah,
now, no.
yeah. And so it's just clear, it's concise. It
Mm.
doesn't have a lot of fight energy when you first watch
Yeah.
how they get to their no,
Yeah.
right?
There's no arguments.
Right. When you push them harder and you make their no seem wrong or invalid, that's
Mm.
when you get more of that fight energy no,
Yeah.
right? But young children actually, I think, are much better than we are because they haven't been conditioned to shut down their no. They haven't learned that if I want my no taken seriously, I have to bring all this fight energy to it, right? They're
Yeah.
like, it's just a no. I don't want to do that. I don't want to eat that,
Yeah.
right? I
That's
don't
not
want to
happening.
be put down.
Yeah.
And it's just clear. And how great would it be for us as adults to full circle come back to that of like, I just know there's just an inner clarity
Yeah.
that I know that this is a no for me right now. And I don't feel I need to bring a fight energy to it to make it clear.
Yeah. Fight energy welcomes objections and other fights. Like I've noticed that
Invite. I'm going to
the
say
more
like
I
it
feel
invites it, right?
it invites it, right? If I feel I need to explain and defend myself, then people around are like, oh, like, should we attack? Not, I mean, they're not saying that, but like there's something here to poke at,
Yes.
to something
Yes.
needs to be defended. Let's explore that instead
You
of just
open
like,
the door, right?
yeah,
We talked about this yesterday in the priming call. Like you left the door a little bit open
yeah,
for someone to peek in and say, but are you sure? You know? Whereas like this grounded, sturdy, clear no, it's like, it's just a no. It's very
yeah,
matter of fact, right?
yeah,
And a matter of fact energy, especially when you can bring matter of fact, I think with kindness, right? People are like, that's just the answer. That's just where they're at right now.
yeah,
Like this isn't inviting me to poke and prod and are you sure in this? And like, yeah, whether someone pokes and prods at you is not always just dependent on how you bring something. Of course, they're bringing their own interpretation and their patterning to it. But the way we say our no's, the energy that we bring our no's does bring another variable to the dance. And if you
totally,
notice, no matter who I deal with, right? People tend to question my no's.
right.
That would be very interesting information, data to take back and explore that.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've noticed in life, nobody teases me. And I
Yeah.
think
I can
this
see
is
that.
because,
You're
right?
not to be teased with. Yeah, no.
I don't bring like if somebody teases me, I'm like, what? Like first I don't understand what's going on. So there's no wiggle room. You know, I might like to be teased, but certainly nobody's messing with me because I just don't invite that energy, and not in a standoffish way, just in a like it's like a blank wall. Nobody's getting that energy back that makes them
Mm-hmm.
want to play in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's
Yeah.
a lot there for people to discover about
Yes.
leaving
Yes.
that door open.
So that was purely just movement, right? Now let's add another layer to this. And actually, where this practice came about is We had a priming the body for a peace call yesterday. And this is the practice we walked through. And it became such a rich, it wasn't a conversation. Yes, we conversed with each other, but rich discoveries for everybody. Things that they never imagined, just moving their hands inward and outward would make so much clear for them, that it was really, like, on my end, really magical to see. And that's just with movement. And then we added extra layers, right? So we're just giving you here a little recipe for what you can play with and what you might discover and the connections you maybe might want to be curious about. But like when you're on the calls with us, you get like, it's cool because people say, okay, well, this is what came up for me. This is what I noticed. And then we get to like personalize it for them on the spot. Like, oh, what if you tweaked it a bit this way? What if we played with it in that way? And then like the first practice was already like, holy crap, what just happened? But then when we tweak it and personalize it, people are like, whoa. And that's super fun for us. So here you get a little taste, right? So here's the next piece of a little taste. We're going to add some words and pair it to this movement. So when you're ready, you're going to have your hands in front of you. You're going to draw them towards you and let them land on your body. Okay. So same motion, but what you're going to say this time, and we always encourage you to say it out loud, right? Especially if you're in a space by yourself. Practice saying these things out loud to hear your voice, to notice when your body takes in your voice, what begins to shift, right? Because there's a lot of information there. So the phrase is, what I need more of is. Right? So as you draw your hands inward and let them land on your body, the phrase is, what I need more of is, or I need more. What is it? Okay. And then as we push outward, it's going to be, I've had enough of, right? So I need more of, and I've had enough of. And you can play here with, one thing that you need, and one thing you've had enough of, and keep repeating and see how that feels, or switch it up. Try something different each time and see how they all feel.
I notice I'm getting bogged down mentally with trying to find the word for what I don't want enough of. I have an energetic sense of it, but pinning a word down is not working. So I'm just going to go with the energetic sense.
Go with the energetics, right? So this is how we would tweak, right? If Steph was on a call with us, we'd be like, excellent. Don't let words get in the way. Use energetics or use imagery. Just pair it with the movement and pair it with, I want more of this and less of that. Right? And then notice as you've done a few rounds of that, what the overall energy starts becoming, what happens to your face. Yeah. Steph's like doing a little waggle again here. What did you notice?
It just feels true. I mean, I think it's easy for me to hold. This is a lot of energetic stuff that's difficult to communicate. It's easy for me to hold a circumstance that doesn't feel the best. Because like we can adapt to anything, right? Like we're fine until the moment we're dead. And so I can contort myself and hold myself in an uncomfortable position for a long time. And just remembering that I don't want that, bringing conscious attention to how I want to feel and how I don't. Yeah. And with movement, like I want to emphasize the importance of the words and the movement. We're talking about things that we've cut ourselves off from, either at like a super existential level in our family of origin, we've learned these patterns, or in the moment where we're just happy being uncomfortable because we can be and it's not going to technically kill us.
I wish all of you can see this. If you're not watching us right now, go to YouTube, or I think Spotify has video. Like, just watch how Stephanie is sitting. Like, the whole posture of it is like, for me, I'm like, yuck. Like, yuck. I definitely know I want less of that. I've had enough of shirking and hiding and contorting.
Yes.
No
but
thanks.
So my point is that this is programmed in our body and in our minds, and we will hold it unconsciously forever unless we engage the body in these practices. These simple movements are reprogramming something really fundamental. So don't think like they're saying do these movements so I can imagine doing that. Physically doing it will have a difference. Physically completely. Saying words will clarify something. Writing things down clarifies things. Like all of this shifts with the doing.
Yes. The difference here, and I think sometimes we don't make this connection and then things don't get to be as potent for us, is we think that thinking is the best thing we could do, right? And thinking is good for a lot of things. But what we're doing here is we're making a declaration, which is different than thinking. We're making a declaration through the body movements. We're making a declaration through either using the words, right? Even if you can't describe, like you said, what it is specifically you need more of or want more of or have had enough of, you're making clear, I need more of X and I have had enough of X. Those are really important words to be able to connect to from a place of sturdiness and clarity, and feel that you have permission and you are allowed, and whatever it is you need or want or have had enough of is valid. Right? If you want to be able to set clear, healthy boundaries, you have to be able to access this data, this information. And then the sturdier you can be in yourself and have access to that and have the courage and the practice, and the courage, I think, comes through practicing to be able to do that, the easier boundaries become. And then when boundaries become easy and sort of second nature, even if they're uncomfortable, relationships become easier. Life becomes easier because you know you have your own back.
Yeah.
Right? So how like a simple practice of drawing your hands towards yourself and pushing away can have all of that impact in your life? Yes. Yes, it can.
And I want to talk about the emotional content, because like that's mostly why we're holding ourselves back, right? We can't articulate what we need or want. So like at the final hour, we're going to scream it angrily at someone and then go cry in our room. Doing these simple physical movements and making a simple declaration like, I want more love, can be just an emotional wellspring. Like that can bring up so much for us to realize what we've been hiding from, what we've been refusing for ourselves, what we've been afraid to declare.
Yes.
And this is the place to get those emotions out, to experience that in a simple practice that's not got an emotional charge in and of itself, but it's going to give rise to all those things that you're going to need to work through and feel through if you want to be able to express this kind of aspect of yourself to other people or in your life, you know?
It's really big and significant to be able to do this. The insights that came for people during our priming call yesterday blew me away. It's like you can talk about these concepts and talk all you want about them, and you might gain a similar insight, or someone might say this to you and you're like, yeah, conceptually that makes sense. That I understand. But to see faces light up and like neurons connecting, I'm like, I saw that on your face. Like, what just happened? And it's shifting something in a short amount of time. It's like the pieces fall together in a way, in a felt sense way, in my body way. The pieces are coming together. It's all making sense. And it's also all making sense why I've been struggling with X, Y, Z all this time. Right. And to your point, the moving of the arms, there's just speaking it out loud. It's not meant to make you feel jolly and great, right? Maybe you feel jolly and great, but maybe, like you said, emotion stirs up and you realize, wow, I really, really want this in my life. Or, wow, that has cost me so much to carry that in my life. I've actually had enough. If we never speak it that clearly out loud and then make it slow, we often don't feel the stuff that's also there. And then we're trying to do our lives from things we think we know and think we should or should not do. And that only gets you so far. But when you can pair how you move through life with, it comes from this inside feeling of, wow, I long for that. And so then I will make it happen. I will start doing the thing that moves me in that direction. Or, wow, this has cost me so much in my life. I have had enough of this. That becomes your why, but not an intellectual why, a felt sense why.
Yeah,
And we spoke about it. Yes, right?
Yes.
A lot of people, when you start talking about what you need more of or want more of, or what you've had enough of, our old patterning is to take us very quickly to the, but how? but do I deserve this? Is this even possible? Or even if I deserved it and got it for a week, it would for sure be taken away from me because I don't deserve good things, right? And then we get stuck in the, but how? And the, do I deserve? And would this happen for me? And
And
I always
hang on.
say, yeah.
That's the brain, right? That's the entire problem of the unintegrated process. The process that's only in your mind, that doesn't
Mhm.
involve your body, your physical body, or your emotions, your emotional
Mhm.
body. If you can integrate those three, the only thing that remains is, oh, I want this thing. I
Yes.
think I want it. I feel that I want it. My body knows that I want it. If you're just in the brain, it's got all these silly objections and nonsense messaging that is unhelpful.
Yes. Right. So this is where you can notice, do you get trapped in the getting pulled very quickly to the, but how? But I don't even know how, or, but it's going to be so hard. And if you do, welcome to the club. You're one of us, right? We have premium membership to that club, and it happens. It's going to happen. There's nothing wrong with you, right? But what might it be like? And would you be open to just bringing yourself back? If you get pulled away by the, but how, but do I deserve it? But this is going to be hard. Fine. Just notice it and see if you want to hang out in that energy in this moment, or if there's a part of you willing for just one breath to turn the energy back to sitting in the feeling and the declaration of, I need more of this in my life, or I've had enough of that in my life, because that's where big things are going to happen for you.
Okay, I feel like I want to liken this back to a recipe. So let's pretend we're on Iron Chef and the ingredient is lemons. So if you just have lemons in your mind,
Are those your lemons?
these are my lemons.
You really need to watch us online on video somehow, because you need to see Stephanie's mind lemons.
Here they are. So there's the lemons of your mind, but there's also like the lemon rind of your body and the lemon essence of your emotions. So you need all of those to have an integrated, fulsome lemon experience that the judges will accept as like lemon is the key feature here, right? So if all you've got is this lemon in your mind, let's call this one the juice, you're going to need to hand this cuisine over to your body to get the rind. And then you're going to need to hand it over to your emotional body to get the essence to make the combined integrated lemon dish. So if you pair this back with something like a boundary or a self-discovery, a personal declaration, and you notice yourself getting bogged down, like you're drowning in lemon juice in your mind, you can take that moment to hand your desire, your recipe, your mission over to your body for a minute. So let's say the lemon in your mind is, I want more love.
I've juiced it. You got the
Juiced.
juice.
It's completely juiced. And now what, right? It's just going to sit in there fermenting and becoming alcoholic and unhelpful. But if it's like, okay, so I want more love. My mind knows I want more love. Oh, but am I deserving? I notice all the thoughts start coming up. Oh, but this won't last, blah, blah, blah.
But every other time I've wanted it, this
It's
happened.
gone away.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. If my focus is on the wanting more love, then I go, okay, the mind is now exhausted and I need to hand this over to my body. And my body can use my hands to bring in that felt sense of remembering I want more love. And then if that gets tired, I can go like this forever, bringing my hands in, more love. And my arms get tired, I can hand it over to my emotions and remember the feeling, the felt sense emotionally of what love has felt like in the past, what I imagine it feels like right now, just the general feeling of love. And the more you can integrate those three items by practicing them at different levels, so thought forms, physical feelings and physical movements and emotional sense, the more that is what you're manifesting.
Yes.
Right? That is the great manifestation.
Yes. Right. And when during our priming call yesterday, we walked people through, like, these were the first two pieces. And then we walked them through actually two other components that help the integration even more and really like get it into the cells and the bones and like just lock it in so that you actually walk around life feeling the truth of these integrated parts. Right. And this reminds me of when I did a workshop with Dr. Gabor Mate. He said this, and it really like I always knew it, but hearing him put it into words, like something in myself just knew right away, like, yes, this is what I haven't known how to articulate it, but like, this is what I know how to make happen through these practices, which is, he said something like the body and the mind and the gut, the intuition, they're all, I forget the exact word he used, all essential, right? For living a good life, to be connected to those parts. But each on their own is insufficient. Yeah. Right? And notice which component you tend to rely on and live in. And all that means is you're strong there. It doesn't mean anything bad. It means, yay, I'm very practiced at listening to that part of me and knowing that part of me. What about your rind? What about the juice? What about the essence, right? What about your mind, your body, your spirit, right? Your intuition, the body senses, how you feel. Are you connected? Do you have a relationship with those elements as well? And this is what this whole practice is about.
Totally.
Right.
And if you feel very strongly identified with one more than the other, that can be a sneaky sign of integration being perhaps more available to you. I know there are a lot of us who think, oh, the strong mind is the important thing. And as long as I've got the mind going, the rest will sort itself out. I'm here to tell you that's not true. All of them.
Yeah. I was very much conditioned to believe that it was all about the mind, that to live a good, successful life, if you can manage your mind and get your mind sharp, it's in the bag for you, right? And that conditioning from my family of origin, along with, I think I used it as a protective mechanism of, if I can look smart, be smart, make fast mental connections, I will be loved and accepted and praised. Right. Okay, that added another element to strengthen that conditioning. And then by nature, I think I have a pretty magical mind. Like, I can make connections really fast. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was the thing. Rely on your mind, until I'm like, well, life doesn't really feel like we're at the top here, and by top, I don't mean like, I'm striving to come to some top that someone's defining for me, but like, I could just feel like, why do I feel dead inside? Yeah. Why on paper does my life look so good? Why would someone looking at me think that I'm living a great life when my mind is super sharp and excellent and so good at working, and my insides feel like my soul is dying? I don't even understand what is happening.
Well, you're just delivering just basically a cup of fancy lemon juice, right? And you're missing the rind and the essence. This makes me think again of, picture the Iron Chef. You got a blustering young chef who's competing with all these others, and he's like, lemon juice is the way to go. Like, it's just lemon juice, lemon juice, lemon juice. And then a quiet, older, peaceful chef emerges, having combined all the components. And you're like, oh, I didn't even know I could do that. Like, that's so much more balanced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. And like, they each bring something, and none of those individual components has to be the star. And, like, they get to work together.
Yeah.
And all your parts get to work together. Right. And also imagine when all your parts get to work together, and you have the courage through practice to show all of your parts to people. That's when they get to see the real you. Right. That's when you get to have like depth of connection that we all might be longing for and also deeply terrified of. But like, I believe this is, if we don't know how to deeply connect with ourselves, how would we ever feel comfortable deeply connecting with another person, right? If you believe that you're deeply connected with another person, and you actually, if you're honest with yourself, aren't that deeply connected with yourself, I'm sorry to say, it's probably a one-sided connection. There's probably things that are out of balance that either and are afraid to admit to yourself, or you feel something is off and you don't know what, right? I don't imagine that those connections leave you really feeling fully fulfilled and aligned. And I had to learn that the hard way. I thought I had great connections, and there were elements of my connections with people that were excellent and amazing. But often, without me even always knowing, I lost a big part of myself in these connections. Or sometimes it's I lost it because I felt like I couldn't bring me and have the connection. Other times I was oblivious to the fact that I had hidden parts of myself and locked them away, and that this connection is only from a sliver of myself. connecting with this person.
Which I think is like a pretty natural trajectory, right? Like when we're young, we learn what parts of ourselves to cut off because we want a connection. And as those start to come back online and we start unhiding them and seeing what emerges, what feels fulfilling and aligned shifts.
Mm-hmm.
And what we can imagine fulfillment to look like expands.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And, you're speaking a little bit about timeline, right? Here. And I like to add that with a practice like this, you get to choose whether you narrow it or widen it. It can be what I need right in this moment is this. You draw that in. What I've had enough of in this moment is this. And you can get even more specific. What I need right now in this moment from you or from our connection or from this experience is this. And what I have had enough of in this moment with you or in this experience is this. It's very clear, right? Or you can widen it this week, this month, next year, next 5 years, what I need more of. It becomes your guiding light for the moment. It becomes your guiding light for the week, the year, whatever time frame you're using. When you can move through life having clarity on what you need more of and what you've had enough of, the choices you begin to make are very different, right? And you don't have to push and motivate yourself through it and white knuckle your way through, because you can always fall back on, I feel that in my body, I need more of this. I feel it in my body that I've had enough of this, right? Like another way we worked with this yesterday was, okay, I need more of this. And I know this because. How do you know that? I need less of this. And I know this because. There's so many ways to use a simple prompt to get closer and closer to yourself, to know yourself better.
And it then becomes simpler when we're bringing it into the body, into that degree of manifestation we talked about earlier, where we're aligning ourselves by way of focus on what it is that we want. We move out of that headspace that's just trying to turn everything else into that, right? So headspace, argumentative space.
Mm-hmm.
When we see something we don't want, we try to change it, change the thing. Whereas when we have this more integrated approach, we tend to just direct ourselves toward things that feel more like what we want. We give less energy to what we don't want, to changing what we don't want, and we just go directly to the thing we do want.
Yes, right? It's like just a clearer path, a simpler path, right? And a more potent path. And this reminds me of noticing how often we're either lost in the how, or am I worthy and deserving? Or some people might have the objection of, but I do say what I need and want, and I do say what I've had enough of. And here's a way to explore that a little bit further. Do we say it from a place of complaint? And do we say it from a place of frustration? Do we say it like with that fight energy that you were talking about, right? Do we say it from a place of I'm the victim and poor me? That's very different. And then even I'm going to imagine, even if you said it in the most grounded of ways, but you're just saying it, you're still missing out on the feeling the truth of that in the body. And that's where the magic lies, to be able to bring that part together with the saying it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, Gigi.
That's that.
One
more thing. If you tend to have a mind that goes fast, and often fast down the drain, like I did, this practice is also very good, because if you've heard our previous episode on the 1-for-1 practice, and if you haven't, go search it up. Maybe Steph, I don't know if you can link it to this episode, but this is a version of doing 1-for-1. I'm going to speak one need that I have. And then I'm going to speak one thing I've had enough of. And then I'm going to switch and I'm going to speak another need. And then I'm going to switch and I'm going to speak another thing I've had enough of. And we're growing the muscle to be able to declare something and own it. And also let it go and shift somewhere else for a moment. And then do the same and like dance back and forth. And this is a key. If you tend to ruminate and you feel like I've had enough of ruminating in my life, this is a way to practice getting out of that old loop, that 1-for-1. It's not let's push it away and stop thinking about it altogether. It's no, like just bring attention and awareness to one thing, then switch it to something else, then come back to something and practice doing the dance. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Gigi. Is there a closing practice that you want to do? Should we run through this one again?
I think let's make it, let's bring this practice in one more time, just for right now. We're wrapping up this episode. You're transitioning to the next thing you're doing in your day, right? Maybe you're doing the same thing, but you're not listening to this episode anymore because it's over. Have a moment to just be with and be curious about what is something I need right now, and draw that in with your arms. Say it out loud, right? And what is something you've had enough of for now? There's something peaceful about this, because as you play here and as you hit the spot, the sweet spot that your body says, yes, that's what I need more of, or yes, that's what I've had enough of. There's this moment, at least I feel it in my body, there's a moment of, I really know me right now. This is me right now, right? And I'll add one last thing here. Sometimes you know already, right away, clearly, what you need more of and what you have had enough of. And then this practice becomes, I'm just declaring it. Now I'm practicing declaring it out loud and hearing my voice say it. Sometimes you have no idea what you need or have had enough of in a certain situation or a certain moment. And just playing around, saying things, anything, starts giving you some more direction, right? And you get to discover what your truth is for that moment just by saying whatever comes to mind. Try out anything, even if you think it's not the thing. Be willing to try it. Even when, and especially when you say the thing, if you said, I need to just shovel garbage all day right now, my body would be like, yeah, no, that's not it. And that's valuable. That's valuable to know how your body lets you know that, right? Yeah. So start anywhere. And then clarity comes through beginning, right? And sometimes you think you need something, or you think you've had enough of something, and you go to say it out loud and you realize, actually, it's more a little like this, or, oh, there's some truth to that, but actually, like, it's this that I need more of, or it's, I actually am okay with that. It's that this is the element of it that's not okay with me anymore.
Yes.
And so nuance becomes more available to you.
Yeah.
Right. But you're not going to know that just from trying to think your way through it.
Totally. Yeah. I have discovered in the course of doing this work over the years that I held beliefs that were painful for me, difficult, and that didn't make my life better. And then when I say them out loud, this thing I think that I believe, I realize I don't believe it at all. And like, what a powerful release. So yeah,
Yes.
please say the things out loud.
Yes. Talk to yourself. Be that person.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well, then that's it for this week. Thank you guys for being here. As always, please do like, follow, and subscribe. And if anything we've said here has been helpful for you, please share with somebody that you care about. And we'll see you next time.
Hi.
Lovely.